Prem Sivalavindra Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Siddharam, everybody, and welcome to tonight's satsang, broadcasting from the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram. Yours in Dharma, Pandit Keshava. Priya Mata is here with us tonight. This Yagna, because of the time, because of the month we're in, this Yagna is titled the Kartik Maas Gyaan Yagna. Readings and discussions, teachings about Kartik Maas, this month, this holy month, this most auspicious month in the Hindu calendar. Last night, Kartik, in our discourse taken from Padma Puran and Matsya Puran, we listened about what is the history of Kartik. Where did Kartik come from? And we listened to about the discourse of a demon by the name of Shank, and Lord Vishnu has to be awoken. And how the Devatas went and they sang and they praised and they did all forms of merriment to awaken Mahavishnu as he was sleeping. And it was the time of Kartik when they woke him up, and it was the day of Ekadasi when he's awakened. The value of this Kartik Maas was described, the value of doing puja in this month. We heard of the many different occasions, Deepavali, Narak Chaturdashi, Tulsi Vivah, Prabhudani Ekadasi, which is tomorrow. And in this month, when a person does the puja, we started to hear about the benefit. We heard about Lord Vishnu taking Matsya avatar. We dealt with all the different teachings that was combined in Padma Puran, Matsya Puran. We touched on Ramayana, where it spoke about reality, our perception, our focus, meaning sometimes how we behave. If this life is compared to a dream, and you realize that in Ramayana, and we were reading from in that Ayodhya Khan section where Kaikeyi has done her deeds and Lakshman is speaking, and he says that this life is just like a person dreaming. If a pauper dreams of becoming a king, does that mean when he wakes up he'll be a king? No. And likewise, if a king dreams he's a pauper, does he lose anything? This life is verily a dream, and in the night of this dream, in the course of this life, only the person who is seeking the feet of Sri Ram is awakened. Reality hits him, and he knows what is real and what is not. He does not go and fights and gets into the, like in Gita when they talk about the eye and the mind. He doesn't become enraptured and caught up in those things. He knows those things are just fake, unreal, without substance. And he goes for the real things, the opportunity to touch the feet of Prabhu, the opportunity to worship Prabhu. And in that way we dealt with that discourse last night. Tonight, I want to continue with the procedure of Prabhudani Ekadasi. I was planning to read it tomorrow night, but somebody messaged me last night and says, Babs, if you read that tomorrow night, then everybody would not be able to prepare today for tomorrow. I can still give you a chance on how to do something if I read it tonight. So we changed the plan a little bit based on that advice. So tonight I'm going to read about Prabhudani Ekadasi. There's something called Bhishma Panchak somebody asked me about. Then somebody asked, I mentioned mango plant, mango tree, mango leaves, and Vishnu worship. So that was also, Baba, what is that about? I've never heard in the puja we have mango plants. Why is that so? What is Bhishma Panchak? What are these things? And in this way tonight, I'm going to explain a little bit about what are the benefits of doing the puja that comes in this Kartik month. What is the value to you and I? The next couple of days has a lot of value. Starting from tomorrow, going all the way onto the full moon, which comes on Thursday, which is the Kartik Snan day, the Kartik day when we all go to the water. And that bathing procedure, and that is what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night. So you're going to get all the information And then I leave it to you to practice or not to practice, depending on your karma, what your karma would allow you to do. But don't say, nobody never taught you. I never know these things. I never heard these things. After tonight and tomorrow night, that will not work, because you're going to learn about it. Tonight, we enter again into Padma Puran, into 2 chapters. And both are speaking about Prabhudani Ekadasi. Before we do so, I invite everybody to clasp your hands as we do Invocation Mantras tonight. Dear Lord, tonight as we gather together, may you please allow us to have your grace, your blessings. Om Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kapet Jambo Palachar Bhakshitam Umasutam Sho Kavinashkarakam Namami Viganeshwaram Pankajam Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvata Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Sitaram everybody, and welcome again if you're coming in a little late. Tonight we're entering into our second night of Kartik Maas Gyaan Yagna, and we're reading from the Padma Puran, where it describes the benefit, the mahatyam of the month of Kartik. In this, we're going to hear some wonderful tidbits, some of the things that you and I do and we never knew why we do it. In addition, the benefit that comes from this type of prayer. Last night we heard at the tail end of our discourse in Master Puran, chapter 2, where Yudhishthira was asking Krishna for help. He's looking at things to remove the sin. He wants procedures. In this conversation between Lord Krishna and Yudhishthira, not Arjun, Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is telling him, my friend, I have done this bad, I have done bad. I bet my brothers in gambling match. I have bet my wife in gambling match. I have made so many stupid decisions and I've wronged so many people. Please forgive me. And I want to do that type of action, that type of activity that would bring about change. So the first part last night what we talked about, he gave him the history of Kartik. He spoke to him about this month of Kartik, what fasting, what prayer could be done, and what is possible. Tonight now we enter into chapter 61, volume 7 of the Padma Puran, where he goes a step further. And in all these chapters in this section, he's given this Ekadasi, that Ekadasi, Papan Kush Ekadasi. What comes next? Rama Ekadasi has just been explained. Rama. Now, this chapter 61 deals with Prabhudani Ekadasi. Before we go into it, when Shank, last night discourse, when Shank came and he stole the Vedas, there's a part where they attacked Lord Vishnu while he's sleeping in Chatur Maas in the Vaikunt. And from his body jumps up a Devi that protects him, fights the war until he's awoken. And he told her that from today, you are going to be called Ekadasi. Your name is going to be Ekadasi. You will sit on the 11th day in the fortnight. And that will be my day. I will meet you there. I will rule that day. And anybody who worships and fasts on your day, I will bless them with untold amount of blessing. This is the history of Ekadasi. Last night, Kartik asked a very important question. In Hinduism, in our Sanatan Dharma, we check date for Chirenda born, we check date for wedding, we check date. Is it a good day for the funeral? Is it a good day for the father to see the child when the child is born? Is it a good day to buy the house? Is it a good day to buy the car? Is it a good day to begin business? Is this a good day to see the girl? Everything has timing. But Kartik asked the question last night, if God made every day, if God made every month, every pahar, every hour, every pal and dand, if everything is made from him, how is it one is favored and one is not? Why is he especially linked to Ekadasi? Why is of all the months he's linked to Kartik month and not any other month? And now in Padma Puran it says, because of this girl protecting him while he lays sleeping. In that same discourse last night, when he takes form and he comes up in Kartik month, and he gives her the name Ekadasi, and he tells her, you stand on the 11th day and I will be worshipped on that day. Whoever comes and does puja on your day, people who sacrifice for me, I will bless your day. I will bless the people that pray on your day. For this reason, in the year it has 12 months. In 1 month it has 2 fortnights, bright and dark. And in every fortnight, whether you start at the new moon or you start at the full moon, you check 11 days, there's going to be a Ekadasi in the dark half, a Ekadasi in the bright half. So every month has 2. 12 months by 2 gives you 24 Ekadasi. 24 opportunities to worship Lord Vishnu. And it brings about great amount of benefit. Each one has different blessings. Each one has purpose. Each one has a merit attached to it if you do his puja on that day. These 24 Ekadasi. Now, Yudhishthira wants to know more about the Ekadasi. Lord Krishna is telling him one after the other, about all the different vrat. It sounds strange that this big fella from the Mahabharata is looking for help. Have you ever been in such a situation where maybe guilt, maybe you did something, maybe you are wrong, maybe you did something wrong in your marriage, in your relationship with your siblings, and you want to ask for forgiveness. You're looking for a way out. Baba, Mami, whosoever, how to get forgiveness. I'm getting punishment in my life. I see in trouble. What to do? In his case, causing them fighting him for land. Everybody trying to kill them. They study like doing something to harm them, something to kill them. And it is as if he's in charge of everybody. He has to answer for his mother, his brothers, his wife. And the stress is mounting, and he goes to Krishna and he asks him, please start a guide. Start to tell me what to do. Give me advice. Maybe in your and in my life, somebody will say, I know a man up the road. And he's a real good Ubia man. That man, he go fix that problem. That man is dealing all kind of things. Maybe people might talk like that for me and you, but in Yudhishthir's case, because he associated with that level of good and godliness, listen to what his friend is advising. There are 24 Ekadashi in the year. And if a person should worship Mahavishnu on those days, O Yudhishthir, sins are going to be eroded. In a different text called Ganesh Puran, in the same conversation, it's like every day he was telling him what you could do, what is your options. So now in the Ganesh Chaut Vrat, from Ganesh Jayanti this year to the Ganesh Jayanti next year for one whole year, every time it have a Chaut in the dark half, a Chaut in the light half, take rose petal, top it in ghee, offer it in the fire. Take rock salt, take different flowers, different things, mix it in ghee and offer it in the fire and do Havan. And Ganesh Baba, the removal obstacles, he will help you. When we are in Ganesh Utsav and we're reading from Ganesh Puran, there's a chapter that describes that Krishna is telling you this how to get the blessings of Ganesh. When you are in, let's say, April into May, that fortnight, and the Chaut reach, take this item, touch it in the cow ghee, not vegetable ghee, cow ghee, and offer it into the fire. And you will be able to overcome children that have little nightmares, fear in the night. You would be able to overcome that particular obstacle. So Yudhishthir is on this road where he wants information and he's desperate. He's desperate. He's despondent. He you know, when we're reading, when Pandits are reading Patra and we're talking about Shani Dev and the effect, when Surjanayak Swami is given Shani Dev all the power to go and to judge people and to punish them. What is the purpose of these planets? Based on your karma, Yamraj, his older brother, Shani's brother, he is the judge. And Shani is the punisher. He's the enforcer. So, Surjanayak Swami's two sons are there, the brothers. Yamraj will meet you in Narak and he will tell you, you have done this, you have that, you have to go and pay punishment. And in Gita, he says, when you go to heaven and you enjoy all the different loks, the person comes back upon the earth. He has to come back. And he'll be born into a wealthy family, you know, an opulent family, well-taught family. But what about the opposite now? What about if they are sinful people and they go to hell, they burn, and when they come back up upon the earth, they are born with scars, marks, hindrances, limitations in their life. And Shani Devta brings grah. But what is a grah? How does a Shani grah look? One of the things is this despondency, a feeling of hollowness, emptiness. Like you want to give up, like nothing makes sense. It says in the books that the person who is under the birth chart, or the person who is under his influence, they feel as if there's no need. It doesn't make sense. Try. There's no need. I will never be successful. Just sit on one place and wait. Wait for time to pass. Wait. Why get up? Why fight? Don't do prayers. That doesn't make sense. That's too hard. That wouldn't work. The person feels as if they'll get denied, they'll get despondent, they'll get depression, they will get hardship, they will get turned back, they would not get through with anything. So they get lazy, they get lethargic. These things are caused by this planet. And Yudhishthir is being squeezed. And he goes to his friend for advice. And he says, tell me, what now? What next? What else it have? What else could I do to help myself? Krishna Bhagwan then says to him, of all the Ekadashi that falls in the bright half, remember I told you there's a dark half and a bright half. The bright half of the month of Kartik, this is the one after the Rama Ekadashi. When that Ekadashi is coming, the person who keeps it up is going to be blessed. How is it called? The one in the bright half. Ladies and gentlemen, that's happening tomorrow. That is called Prabhudani Ekadashi. Prabhudani means the awakening. Awakening, that is what it means. To wake up. What does that, where is that coming from? This is the Ekadashi that when Lord Vishnu sleeps for the Chaturdasi, for the 4 months, when he was resting, tomorrow is the day he has to get up. So tomorrow is a day of greatness, great things and great blessings. Oh Yudhishthir. The first person to ask this was Narad Muni, and he was speaking to Brahma. And he wants to know about this too. Oh Yudhishthir. Narad Muni says, as Lord Krishna is relating to Yudhishthir, tell me in detail the importance of Prabhudani Ekadasi, on which the person who knows the righteous ways, well, Lord Vishnu is awoken. Brahma says, listen, just by listening to the greatness of Prabhudani, it destroys sins, it increases merit, it gives salvation, and it gives help to those that are helpless. Till the Prabhudani Ekadasi is coming, the earth, the rivers are roaring. The Ganga is a little tumultuous. She is roaring, she is waking, and she is making a noise to wake Lord Vishnu. When Kartik comes, and this Prabhudani Ekadasi comes, and it is the day now for him to wake up, it is then the earth receives back Mahavishnu. It is then the world is waiting. And what do? A man would attain through fasting on Prabhudani on that one day what other people take thousands of yagya, thousands of Rajsuya yagya. Doing that breath, as difficult it is to obtain, which is difficult to reach, which is hard to reach in all three worlds, without hardship. When the person does Hari Bodhani, or to wake up Lord Vishnu Puja, when fasting, it gives the person splendor, wealth, intellect, kingdom, political winning, happiness, riches. This Ekadasi destroys all the sins. It burns even more than the other Ekadasi. It burns away sins, that people who accumulate all the wrong, all the mistakes, as if it is a mountain of sin behind them, that is reduced to nothing by keeping the vigil, by keeping the waking up on this night of Ekadasi. It burns, that mountain of sin burns as if it is just a heap of cotton. 1 second it is there, and next it is gone. O Narad Muni, he who according to his nature observes the fast and Prabhudani gets the fruits as declared in our texts. O excellent sage, the person who doesn't have manners, the person who has never had any type. In Gita it talks about the demonic people. They never know what is the right time or the right way. They don't have etiquette. Even those people can gain fruits by doing this. The ancestors of those people who observe the Prabhudani Brat, they are filled with delight and live in the world of Mahavishnu when their, let's say their grandson, I'm just using our word, grandson, not the old man, not the person who passed away, the grandson is doing the prayer. But the old people who pass away, they are getting liberation by such a person's sacrifice. For this reason, just like when Bhagirath had, last night when we were talking about Bhagirath is going to call, when we were talking about Prayag, when Bhagirath is calling Ganga to come upon the water, come upon the earth in the form of the water, and that moment came. Did Bhagirath alone get the blessing? No. Bhagirath did the act, but his grandfather and father, Sagar and others, they gained the liberation. The vow of Prabhudani brings the light and brings the blessing for those that are alive and those that have passed away. Even for a person who has committed the greatest sin, such as murder of a Brahman, murder of a cow, is freed from hellish misery and is placed into the company of Mahavishnu by doing the vrat for the Ekadasi, known as Prabhudani. Having kept wake in the honor of Vishnu, the sins of this person is washed away. So throughout this world, for those people that worship like in Hare Krishna temple, people who worship Krishna Bhagwan, people who worship Mahavishnu, tonight they are chanting like Krishna Janam, and they're going and they're singing for the Lord. As they celebrate, he's going to get up, because we have to sing to wake him up. The Prabhudani is the day that he opens his eyes and he's awoken. So tonight we have to make revelry. Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Ram Ram Bol. And people would sing and celebrate. In that way, the person who does it, the fruit that is difficult to obtain by means of Yagya, Rajsuya Yagya, Ashwamedhya Yagya, is easily achieved by that person who keeps awake on the Prabhudani night. As the Prabhudani is coming weekly, a man obtains that fruit by keeping awake, as if he had taken bath in holy places. Last night we spoke about those people just listening to the katha, those people sharing the discourse last night, getting the grace as if they went to Prayag, and we heard the benefit of Prayag. Now listen to this. The person who, just by staying awake, for those of you that say, Baba, you know, we couldn't come in the temple last night. We know you had Yag, but we couldn't come. I was working security and I was working a night shift. I had to go out to work. All those nurses, doctors, etc. You know what? You have something upon we. Because whilst you're doing your job and you're waking, you're also doing prayers. Many people don't realize that. But there's a benefit to that shift work, to that night work, when you look at these things. Whilst we are doing prayers for ourselves, these people are living Seva for the upliftment, the security, the help. Think about the doctor, the nurses who are, when people are bleeding and they're in help and they need, and they're in that emergency ward. Whilst me and you might wake tonight and we're singing Hari Narayan, their hands become the doctor's hands, the sympathy and the empathy of the nurse. Don't worry, everything will be okay. They become the tools of Lord Vishnu. When you treat somebody with that care and that love, what puja could compare to that type of heart and that type of empathy? So, if the person can't do worship, but they just stay awake, they get the blessings as if they had taken bath in the holy waters of the Ganga, given gold in Dan, given land in Dan. All these things are possible when the person observes Prabhudani in the month of Kartik. This fortune purifies him as well as his family. Though death is certain for men, wealth and this body is uncertain. That is a reality. Though we know that one day I will have to die, how your body will be, your strength, your health, will I have bone cancer, will I have weak blood, will I have genetic disorder, what will you have? Will you have forgetfulness? Will you have Parkinson's disease? Will you have neuropathy? What will your body become in 20 years? I don't know. Will you make it? Will you save money? Will you win the lottery? Will you get a job even? I don't know. But you know that one day we all have to close the eye. Realizing this, the person on this day doesn't only think of earning money or earning in this existence. Is this existence only about money, 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 gain, gain, gain? You know, in Bhagavad Gita, he talks about it. He talks about it. He says, the sinful people, the demonic people, I'll quote it tomorrow night for you. This amount of money is made by me. Tomorrow I'll make that amount of money. Tomorrow I'll kill my enemy. I'll overcome this one. I'll triumph over that one. I'll destroy this one. And in this aggressive way, that is what life is. For those people who know what life really is about, that this life is not only about money. Wealth is not assured. That the body you feel you have is not assured. That the only thing we are sure about is death. Then you take the time, you take what you have, and you make the most of it. And in doing so, the person is able to gain the blessings, to make the impossible come possible. that person will make efforts to serve Mahavishnu. And in doing that service, that seva, he will gain the desired objects. A man or a woman devoted Mahavishnu should abstain from food on this day. If he has to eat food that is not tamasic, that does not have grains in it. That type of food, simple food, bland food. By abstaining from certain food, he gains the blessing. Just by one day, he gets the blessing as if he had done the Chandrayan Brat. A different Brat, we'll talk about that another day. A man who spends the days of Kartik pursuing, reading, listening to discourses of Mahavishnu in the course of the whole month, dark half, bright half, he gains all the sins are being burnt away. Myriad types of fruits, as if he had done yag just by listening to discourses. But of all the days in this month of Kartik, this Ekadasi is very important. In this way, Prabhudani is supposed to bring happiness not only for the person who is doing it, but the people around him. In fact, those who narrate the discourses and listen, again I'm saying it, those people who help other people to hear a piece, a half of a verse, a full verse in hearing about Kartik, Ekadasi, this month, the benefits, that person, it is as if this righteous act of listening to the sacred text, having discussed and grasped the value of Kartik, it is as if they will become Mahavishnu when their soul leaves the body. It is as if they will have that good luck in their life. From now, it causes changes. For this reason, devotees, tonight, those of you looking on, share this satsang. Share the link on your Facebook page. Leave me a comment. Say something, talk. And in doing it, you would get your blessing. Oh, best of sage, he who knows he has desires, the highest good that will come from listening, narrating Kartik discourse as well as the Ekadasi discourse. He who listens to the awakening or the Prabhudani discourse obtains the fruit that throughout this earth, a person could do whatever vrat and may not be able to accomplish it in this life. O Narad, the man who on the Prabhudani Ekadasi starts the day with singing. Get up in the morning, everybody. Step one. And I'm going to go in a different chapter to give more detail. But step one, let's do it the way they did it. How do you start? Singing. Get up if you have your little guitar, if you have whatever you have in your house. Read something. That merit is going to bind itself to the soul. The person is going to become less and less sinful. Those who engage in singing, dancing, playing of instrument, if you could play a drum, if you could play a little organ, tomorrow is a wonderful morning for this. Listen to the bhajan, listen to YouTube where you could get the little Sahasranam of Mahavishnu and let it play in your home. With flowers, fruits, if you have camphor, mash up the camphor, take saffron and all these things and offer it to Lord Vishnu's Murti, offer it in the dar. Get up in the morning and offer your dar. Immeasurable religious merit is obtained when a person does this on the Prabhudani day. At the time of the awakening, offerings in tonight, into tomorrow. How do you do tomorrow? Take, for those of you that have this shank, maybe in your prayer room, in your puja room, take the shank. If you have this one or you have the Lakshmi Sangh, whichever one you have, put the water, put the saffron, put the tulsi, the rice, and you bathe it on the shaligram or the Vishnu Murti, like how I have Vishnu Baba here. Take it and bathe him like that. And know that by doing these respectful gifts on the Prabhudani day, all honor, all gifts, all blessings are going to be accommodated to you. That person who listens to Bhagavad, to the Purans, like in this case how we read in Padma Puran, it will be as if the person is giving cow in Dan. For those who observe the vow of Vishnu that has been laid down in certainly Madhu Sudhana, different tulsi leaves, the different flowers that he loves, these things are going to be offered to him. the Ketaki flowers, which doesn't grow in Trinidad, but it grows in India. That is a flower that is to be used. The Augusti leaves, again, doesn't grow in Trinidad, but that he loves. But the one that grows in Trinidad, listen to it. I'm reading from, this is slok 59 of chapter, because you know it is have people who wants to know, chapter 61 verse 59. Listen to it carefully. O Narad, Lord Vishnu, the greatest person, when worshipped with mango leaves in Kartik, gives the desired object. As that lunar month comes, he who, leaving all other flowers, devotedly worships Vishnu with the mango blossom, would obtain the fruit of Ashwamedha Yagna. Therefore, when the puja is being done and the mango plant is on the bedi, the tulsi plant is on the bedi, which is adored on the day after the Prabhudani, which is called the Tulsi Viva, Mahavishnu grants that person whatever their heart's desires is. For this reason, you will see on the bedi when the Kartik Nahan is going to be done. We'll discuss that tomorrow night. This is where the mango leaf comes from. This is why we put the mango leaf in the lota. Because when you sprinkle the shaligram and all the others, this is the value. He says, he whoso offers whatever with that mango leaf in the month of Kartik, but that's the catch. In the month of Kartik, this is where Lord Vishnu would give the darshan. The blossoms, the flowers that grow on the peak. This is why we use the mango leaf under the kalsa. But is it this alone? In different months, we use neem, we use Udumbara, we use, forgetting plants now, Shami leaves. We use different type of leaf under the parai when we put the coconut. It's not only mango, but as you are reading here, mango is linked to Lord Vishnu. Just as how the twigs or the flowers, the leaves, the root of the tulsi plant is used in his worship as well. When a person having done worship in this way, using mango leaves, the person gains all forms of blessings. In this way, the person who follows the observance of the Prabhudani Ekadasi, the person is given freedom from sin. Prem se bolo Shri Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Now we move over to same Padma Puran, volume 8, 124 chapter. And in Mastya Puran, there is a little description of something that we have to read, where Kacha is speaking. Let's join together as we enter, as we learn a little more about this Prabhudani. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Sampita Bhratantuyam Prabodhani Gurunatarayate Bhishma Panchakayati Pancha Dina Brata Devanyam. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Prem se bolo Shri Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Devotees, tonight in this second chapter and in Mastya Puran, this information of how when you worship in Kartik, what is the possibility when people are talking, when they are unhappy, when they have problems, just as Yudhishthir in that previous chapter is speaking, what to do. Now Lord Shiva is speaking to Kartik, and Kartik wants to know what else could people do, what else could people do, what is the benefit, what is happening. In this chapter, he goes into in-depth explanation of the Prabhudani, and then he tells us of the last 5 days of the month of Kartik. This is to answer a question that somebody had asked me. all the waters, all the oceans, again, are very tumultuous. And what is the benefit of doing the fast for the Prabhudani? You gain the blessings as if you had done hundreds and thousands of yagna. How does it manifest in your life? Affluence, union. For those people who are praying to get married or reconcile, fast tomorrow. The person who is praying to pass exams, fast tomorrow. The person who wants to have office or to become the ruler of the land, fast tomorrow. The person who wants happiness, I want to harp on now with happiness, fast tomorrow. The person who wants to gain wealth, fast tomorrow. Sins committed during thousands of birth existence that have heaped and lumped together, these are all burnt away on the day of the awakening, Prabhudani. When that day is done and the person fasts, they are going to be freed of all that sins by merely knowing which Lord Vishnu is secured. His company is secured by what? Keeping the vigil, by waking. A man should sing, play musical instrument, recites the Puran, light incense and offer deer, food, flowers, smear the spot where the murti is with gobar, sandalwood water is to be offered. Prayers, what type of prayers? We will deal with one just now. Suktam from Rig Veda. Have faith, have faith. Vishwas, we talked about Vishwas last night. You know, I was talking to somebody earlier today and the person was despondent, the person was depressed. And you know, sometimes when you hear about Vrat, it sounds so easy. Yes, Baba, I'll get up tomorrow and I go arti with incense and I go do arti and I go say the mantra and I will say all these things. Good, very good. Do you say it with faith? Yes, Baba. Yes, Baba. But that faith sometimes could wean, it could tottle, depending on what's going on in your life. Do you realize that there are sometimes when we have faith when things are good, but when things are not good, we start to think, I wonder if that God could handle. I wonder if Rami, if Krishna just smiles so much, he just looks so soft. I don't know if he could handle cancer, you know. I wonder if it is possible for my God to handle the trouble. He says, with faith, control your senses. For lusty people, for meat, hungry, alcohol drinking, starving people who only want the alcohol. Oh God, I can't wait for Diwali to finish fast enough. I have to line up for that liquor, for that meat, for those people to control themselves. Full of joy. Joy. When last have you done prayers with joy? When the prayers is only, oh God, we had to fast. Oh God. Oh God, we had to stay up late. We got a bit tired. Religious acts offer worship with energy and without laziness. By circumambulating the murti, proceeds to give obeisances and bowing, accompanied by doing arti or waving of the light. Hold up. Priyaji, he says, without laziness. To all my godchildren, when mommy tell you go and light the diya, mommy is not my turn, it's she turn. It becomes somebody else's job. It is a labor, it is hard. And we do that. And when you don't inculcate the right attitude in children, when you don't stamp out those things that you have to like that day before you leave this house, then anything along that line is going to be difficult. With a mind free from dejection, he should wave lights before the murti of Mahavishnu. And with that mind concentrated, keeps vigil, accompanied with the characteristics in his mind, without dishonesty regarding money, that person never is born again. You keep up this vrat and you do it the right way. Then doing it the right way, you will get the right reward. He who does devotedly without deceitfulness keeps weak in the day of the Ekadasi. Maybe you can't wake in the night because of medicine, because of health, because of where you reach. That person, he too attains the highest position. He who every day in Kartik worships Vishnu in the recital of one of the hymn, Purusha Suktam. Purusha Suktam. Everybody, let's do 2 verses. Sahasra Sisha Purusha Sahasra Raksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwavato Vritva Avatishtad Dasanugalam. The Supreme Being having 1,000 heads, like what Krishna shows Arjun, 1,000 eye, 1,000 feet, pervading in the cosmos. On every side he's filled his space 10 fingers beyond. Purusha evam dagum sarvam yad bhutanam yad cha bhavam yam uta amritam tattvam sesanam yad aneta tirohati. The Supreme Being indeed is all this, what hath been and what is yet to be. It is He who confers all immortality, by which alone they live, mortal, immortal. On days like tomorrow, Purusha Suktam is chanted. Tomorrow when I'm in Puja, this is the go-to prayer. If you don't know it, go on your YouTube, Purush Suktam, and just let it play in your home. I'll download it and I'll send it out in the group tonight. Just let it play. Has worshipped Vishnu. It is as if he has worshipped Lord Vishnu for thousands of years just by listening to that Suktam tomorrow. The person worships every day in Kartik according to the prescribed manners for the last 5 days. He is going to gain salvation. He should get up and say, Jai Narayan, Hari Narayan, and he calls the name of Narayan. And all those that are tormented in hell in his family, those people too are freed. He in the month of Kartik on the Prabhudani day who does the Sahasranam of Lord Vishnu, which is the chanting of the 1,008 names of Lord Vishnu, that too is on YouTube. Just let it play. Is released. Like when Gajendra was caught by the alligator and he was being pulled and death was certain. When the soul, as you know you did bad and you have to go to Yamraj and you have to go to pay for all we do. Just as how Gajendra was allowed to be freed and goes to heaven because he calls on Mahavishnu, the person who does these type of worship tomorrow, that person becomes free and they don't have to worry about rebirth. The person who keeps awake even on the Monday, which is the Dwadasi day, that person lives in heaven from Monday night into Sunday night into Monday. That person lives for hundreds of years, thousands of years in the heavenly regions. And he gains the position of Lord Vishnu, staying and maintaining and caring for Mahavishnu. Therefore, a person should stay awake. Kartikeya, he who eulogizes and singing Mahavishnu in the last watch of the day, that person knows that when his ancestors gain the blessing because of his action or her action, they go to the Shwaita Dweep area, to the region of Lord Vishnu in the Milky Ocean, and they live there. Much more for the person who actually did it. He who offers Lord Vishnu, as Kartik is coming to a close, that's on Thursday, offer him all types of sweets, make vegetables, cook things and feed him. Jasmine flowers, lotus flowers, all these things are great. And then take containers, if it is a kalsa, if it is a jug, if it is some container with til, ghee, milk, dahi, all these things, give it in daan. Kartik listened. He listened to everything Mahadev Baba had said. And he says, Prabhu, what you have discussed is very great. The value of this day is so great. I want to do it. I want to do the worship. So today, for example, in the ashram, we had groups and we were doing Vishnu's Puja today. And tomorrow, you will, for those of you that have the opportunity who got to take part, you will see where we will take the sank and we'll be bathing him and we'll be offering different things on him. So some people had asked me about the Bhishma Panchak, and this is where the answer is coming. Kartik asked the question, Daddy, after listening to that, tell me more about this Bhishma Panchak, which is observed in the same Kartik month. Daddy, how is it so many things are happening here? And what is the benefit of this thing? Who did it? What did they gain from it? Please tell me these things. Mahadev Baba says, O Kartiki, believer in vows, Vrat, Puja, I shall explain to you this great Vrat which lasts for 5 days. Since it became known when Lord Vishnu gave it to Bhishma, the uncle of Arjuna and the Pandavas, Bhishma, it is called Bhishma Panchak, Bhishma 5 days. Who except Lord Vishnu is able to tell the merit of this vow? Listen to the ancient practice. In the bright half of Kartik, it was observed first by Vashish Muni, then Bhrigu, then Garga Muni. Garga is the one who gave Lord Krishna his name. He is Vasudeva Pandit. In ages like the Krita age, in the Yug such as Treta Yug, Ambarisha Muni, he was the one who did the Bhishma Panchak, offering food to the Brahmanas, observing celibacy, uttering hymns like the Purusha Suktam, doing rites such as Nandi Mukh Shraddh, Tripindi Shraddh, different type of Shraddh, also observed by Kshatriya, Vaish for business, for truthfulness and purity, for protection as well. It is difficult to be observed by those who are not truthful. People who lie are not able to do this prayer. It cannot be observed by those people who are foolish. Foolish people, they do not know the truth. They do not hold to the truth, and they get distracted. They get in any way despondent. Despondent is the problem, because your feelings, your lust and your belief is pegged against maybe somebody else. Think about it. I'm very happy I'm the wife, and I'm very happy and motivated to do my puja, but the husband to see face. So if she had doing it, Baba, I can't do it. This is a common example. If he had doing it, I can't do it. And what it shows is that your happiness, your prayers now is pegged against this other person. When true and in fact you are supposed to stand, because remember the old saying, you come alone and you're going alone. So when the opportunity comes, only the foolish person uses emotions. I had a good day, I could pray. I had a hard day, I can't pray. As I said last night, when we were talking about the COVID, there was a family who got the COVID, their whole family, everybody, but they're ready to break the fast because the burden is too much. These type of people who are easily swayed away from God, these are not the person's Kartiki. This is not the type of vrat for them. So off the top, this is what I just tell people. If you know you can't do it, nothing wrong, don't do it. It's better you try. Because if you don't have the right attitude, what did he say last night? I said it. What did he say in Gita? If the most sinful person makes the mindset, if it makes the mind strong that they want to change their life, they want to turn around and go to God, consider that person a saint. Because with the right resolve, they will find a way, they will do the right things. But suppose you don't have the right resolution. Suppose you can't make up your mind in the right company. Suppose you don't want to do it. It cannot be observed by ordinary people. It is difficult to observe. This is why it is called Bhishma. Bhishma is also the one who observed difficult vrat. That is where he got that name. O Kartikeya, he who observes this particular vrat, this Bhishma Panchak vrat, gives great merit and it destroys sin. Therefore, listen carefully how to observe it. Starting tomorrow on the Prabhudani Ekadasi, and it finished 5 days after Ekadasi, Dwadasi, Trayodasi, Chaturdashi, full moon, Thursday. Therefore, one should do the following. Having properly and accordingly precepted, fixing the self, prepare to bathe on the Ekadasi in the bright half of Kartik. take up the vow that lasts for 5 days. The observer of the vow should bathe in the morning time using river water or spring water or water that is mixed with cow dung and rice. So if we can't go to the river, if we cannot go to the sea, take a little bit of gobar, put it with rice, especially if you have dung, and a little till, mix it in the water and bathe in the bathroom or the shower, and then now rinse it off. This is a common misconception that it is limited only to river or the sea. But in tomorrow night's discourse, we'll hear more about the bathing part of it. If the person bathes in the morning, when it is the midday Sandhya, let them bathe again. Then between the two baths, let them offer tarpan, offer a dar to uplift yourself, the dar, and then to uplift your ancestors, the tarpan. One of a strong vow, having bathed and observed silence between doing a prayer, Mount Vrat is practiced. Mount Vrat is when you're not talking too much. For these 5 days, it's not that you're on a vow of silence, but you don't needlessly talk, so you don't get into any heated argument. You don't talk about anything lusty as you're practicing celibacy, etc. You wear clean clothes, and carefully you should feed people, share water. When you're offering tarpan, this is where you would hear your Baba talking about we doing Bhishma tarpan. This is where the Bhishma tarpan, the offering for Satyavadi Bhishma, is offered. He should carefully worship great souls in the family. Bhishma is one of them, the Munis, etc. Under the guidance of Pandit, this is done. Then when worshipping like an Amurti by Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Mata, if you have the Lakshmi Narayan Shaligram, that it could be used as well. Making gifts such as, in that you put 5 jewel, 5 gem. When you are doing different type of yag, and let me say you're doing a Murti Stapan, and they would put different metal on there. For those of you who do it correct, you know what I'm talking about. When you have metal, you have different type of gems that is offered inside the Murti when they're making the Murti, or it is going to be Stapan. When different yag is being done inside the Kalsa, 5, sometimes 9, depending on the yag that is being done, different gems, metals, different things are placed inside it. Does it sound strange? Might, but then when you're doing grappers, you understand at the same time 9 water, 9 metal, 9 wood, etc. So it is along that lines that these gems are placed there and it is given, and when the prayer is done, you could give that in charity, and by doing so you'd be able to get different type of blessing. The purpose of the gem is really as it is able to conduct the light energy, to enhance, just as gemology says, when you're wearing the ring, you know, when people wear like blood coral when they're mangalic, or depending on what is your problem, the sun hits the stone, amplifies a particular wavelength, shoots it now at the bottom of the stone into your vein and through your aura, giving you the change, the help that you're looking for. Like this, you're giving this type of help in charity. Carefully, he inspects these gifts that has been the gems and gives it away. Both Vishnu and Lakshmi is pleased by this gift, and the person is going to gain the lust of Lakshmi by this one thing when done properly with the right attitude. I refer to Bhagavad Gita when he's talking about when making gifts. There are different ways people give gifts. It have where people give gifts and God, are bound to give him that 2 grain of dal. It have like tamasic. It have where you see I giving a gift. You see I giving cheese. You see I giving a gift. Everybody watch me, look, I giving a gift. Rajasic. Sattvic is when you give the gift and you just tell, you close your eye and you say, Lord Vishnu, I hope you was watching, bless me. Lord Vishnu, I just did that to make you happy. And with your God you talk, not for anybody else, not for fame, not for accolade. By doing this type of worship for the 5 days, great amount of benefit is accorded. Whatever image is made, sometimes people make little murti and so on, put the metal, the 5 metal, the 5 gem into that murti. So we're making a murti. Some people make it with mud, some people would buy their murti. Tonight we have our murti here. The metal would be placed under the murti or maybe they might put like a little diya and put those things inside. The metal represents different devatas. Gold is representative of Lord Vishnu, silver is Brahma, copper is Lord Shiva, mixed metal Yamraj, and iron is Yamraj, mixed metal is Yamdut. There are different metals for the different elements, and all these things are charhaved so that to bring the electrical energy into the murti, so that the benefit that the person is looking for when they touch the mud, when they touch the murti, they'll be able to enhance and get that enhanced energy. As the gems are pulling the solar energy, the metal is pulling the electrical energy, and when the person touches the murti, they would be charged, re-energized by this. By making these type of respectful offerings, a man enters into a vow, and he does this puja, and he bathes using the gotra and the pravar, doing Bhishma Tarpan, and he prays for the help of Bhishma, son of Santanu, and he does all the different offerings. Then he worships Mahavishnu. He who in this way finishes this group of 5 days undoubtedly gains great religious merit. And for these 5 days he has to be fully restrained. Restrained from what? From lust, from anger. And I'll tell you why I'm harping on this vrat, because there's an additional benefit. How do you do the puja to burn away sin? All these things, maybe you're not doing everything, but little tidbits you can do. Bathe the murti of Mahavishnu with water, honey, milk, ghee, cane juice. 5 things mixed together. What we call panchamrit, right? Then take the other mixture. There's panchamrit. There's something called panchgavya. What is panchgavya? Milk, dahi, ghee, gaumutra, cow urine, gobar. The 5 products of the cow. Mix that together and bathe Mahavishnu with that as well. Then take water that has little sandalwood. Like if you masawe it yourself and you grind it on the stone, take some of the chandan, mix it in the water, or if you have the powder, mix that too, and then wash his murti. The Garud Dwaj, the flag of Garud of Mahavishnu, that murti, offer him saffron, camphor, sandalwood, do puja for the murti, flowers, mala, incense, with devotion. How do you pass the incense for this form? Take gogol and burn it, and when you are burning, do arati with the smoke, so heavy smoke is going to be done. Take ghee, offer it in the diya, day and night. Offer light to Mahavishnu for these 5 days. Light the diya and keep it going. Share food, eat sattvic food. What is good food? Excellent food. This is how it's written here. What is that? Food that don't have onion, food that don't have garlic, food that is freshly cooked. Meaning freshly cooked, not as it cooked only, but 3 hours between your eating. So in this vrat, you're not eating stale food. You're not eating food that is too old, microwave food, etc. You want fresh food. And in this, you live on that. So in these days, you're not going to eat, just an example, you're not going to eat Crick's biscuit. You're not going to eat bread that you bought in the supermarket. You're going to eat what you could cook. Simple food, light food. And having worship like this, he salutes all the devatas with mantras, and for 108 times on each day, using 12 syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 6 syllable, 8 syllable mantra, and uttering with swaha, ghee is offered into the fire. Then at the evening sandhya, he salutes Lord Vishnu and he does worship and sleeps on the ground. But after the sandhya worship, before he goes to sleep, if a person has to eat, they can eat. For the people who fasting without salt, for people who fasting without talking, for people who fasting without drinking water. All these things, you could close it when the sun sets. Listen to the specialty and the superiority of this vow. On the first day, which is tomorrow, when you're doing the puja, focus in your mind. When you're doing the jap, focus on his feet. Only focus on his feet. Padma puja is done tomorrow. On the second day, which is the Tulsi Viva day, people worship his knee to his leg, his hip, these areas. With bay leaves, they offer it onto the Vishnu Murti or into the fire. Then as the days go by, you worship his head. You focus on his head to put the tikka on his head. The mala sometimes, depending on your murti, could fit right here on his murti, small, up until the full moon day. And distinctively, when you continuously worship like this and you are eating light food, you are bathing your body with the gobar, you are on the 12th day, on the Monday. This is where when people have different trouble with children, this goes song street, but it's true, that they rinse their mouth with the cow urine. They bathe with the gobar. On the Chaturdasi day, on the Trayodasi day, they drink milk. On the Chaturdasi day, they drink the dahi. And they recite certain hymns while it is being done. And what are these things for? The 5 articles that come from the gobar, the cow, is used to purify the person, clean the person. Constantly. Call it, let me use English words for everybody to understand me. It is a way, it is a means of fasting for the purpose of cleansing the individual of what? Sin. For the purification of this body. A person have fasted 4 days up until the 5th day, and on the 5th day now they are going to have bath, worship Mahavishnu and all those like gurus, parents, etc. Giving up sinful thoughts, thinking intelligent thoughts, practicing celibacy, holding the seed, especially the man, not in any way doing anything to spill their seed. So this talks about, and I want to be very clear, it speaks about masturbation as well. When doing this, a person is not supposed to spill their seed in any form. Full celibacy. Should devotedly feed and give presents when the vrat is done. So when you fast the 4 days and then you're going to have the bath. So we know about Kartik Nahan on that day, but it has some stuff we have to talk about. The person avoids all form of liquor. Now liquor could be, this could be a catchy thing. And somebody would ask you, for example, and it just shows how you have to be meticulous when you are fasting because you want optimum blessing. Imagine I'm fasting from food, the meat, that is, the meat. But in some of the tablets that we take, some of the tablets, if you're not mindful, and I'm not talking about Omega XL, somebody thought I was talking about that one day, Omega XL with fish oil only. But the shell, not the content, the shell of the capsule, some of them have pig or pork remnants or pork fat, different makeup from different animal byproducts. So if I am abstaining from flesh, remember it also talks about animal byproducts in that way as well. So when you're on meds, you have to be careful as a Hindu what you're putting in your mouth. I remember one time I was doing Yagna and we were closing off, and I'm always teaching children, my niece and my nephew, they were much younger, and I was always teaching them to give, show, don't only want to have, don't only want to take, learn to give. And in it, some appearance came and she says, look, somebody bring this. So I watched it at that distance and I said, okay, it's conkles or some kind of snack. And then she says, no, read here. Pig, I forgot what the word was, pork skin fat and beef extract, and it was a child's snack. So it is a little reminder for brothers and sisters to be mindful of what we are buying for our kids. It might look very attractive, the packaging. It is there to attract you. It is there, to cause the child to say, I want that, mommy. I agree. But as a Hindu, remember, we abstain. In Hinduism, it talks about not eating pork. It does talk about that. And it does, the big one, the beef. So it's not my place to tell you what to eat or what not to eat. I'm not saying that. But if you're fasting and you want the results of your prayer, as it says here, the person who avoids liquor and flesh, in doing so, the person gains great merit after worshipping, engaged in the worship of Lord Krishna. Then, having sipped the products of the cow, he should eat the night when the Kartik Nahan has come. When a person gains the fruits of doing that, when a person has done the fruits, listen to this. A drunkard who has drank liquor from birth to death, that person can gain forgiveness by following the Bhishma breath. Women who have made mistakes, people who have been unfaithful, those people can gain forgiveness. The widow who does this, the widower who does this, not only gains blessings for themselves, but also for their deceased partner. O Kartiki, people who worship in the month of Kartik, bathing every day, giving all forms of food, helping the downtrodden, O child, engrosses into the meditation of Mahavishnu by doing Vishwadev Puja, gains health and destroys sickness from his family. At the conclusion of the vow, when the murti of Mahavishnu is made and all the offerings are done, the person prays. The person prays to whom? To me. Mahadev Baba. Mahadev Baba's flag is a green flag. The cloth that is offered in his flag is green. That's the form when he has 4 hands. 4 hands. What are you praying for? Dear God, protection. When was this information given? Bhishma had relayed this information when he laid on the bed of arrows in the Mahabharata, like a lion ready to leave this world. This vow of Bhishma Panchak on the earth is confined to the 5 days, starting on the Prabhudani Ekadasi, and it goes on to the Kartik Purnima, which is the Kartik Nahandi. There is no vow that is greater to Mahavishnu than this vow. If a person has made all forms of sin, a person makes deals to sell his daughter and sister, people like these should do this type of prayer. The sacred text talks about the pain and the suffering that those type of people undergo when they do things that cause harm and damage, pain and suffering to other people. Such people should be encouraged to do this type of worship. This is the truth, O Kartik, Kartiki, that when a person goes after the fruits of Kartik, they would be able to overcome all the mistakes that they would have done in this life, in the past life. He who devotedly reads and would retain, that person would retain what is heard from this, the description of the Kartik, the Prabhudani Ekadasi, the Bhishma Panchak, is freed from all sin and goes to Vaikuntha. There is no doubt by merely listening to this account, the importance, he gets wealth, he gains grains, food for the person that is hungry here tonight, fame, sons, long life and good health. By listening alone, for this reason, the person who allows others to hear, the person who shares this information with others, they are going to be greatly blessed as well. Tonight, I want to remind you at this time to share the satsang, to make use of that little button, share, and share it for people to listen. Please join your hands together as we pray to Mahavishnu before we continue in the last part. Hari Om Sahasra Shirasa Devam Vishwaksham Vishwasambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Deva Aksharam Paramam Param. Om Narayana Paro Jyotir Atma Narayana Paraha Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha Narayana Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha. Om Namo Narayanaya Bhyo Namah. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. This universe is truly the body of the Supreme Mahavishnu Narayan. Therefore, it is dependent upon him, that divine being who has countless heads, eyes, producer of joy in this universe, whose form the universe is, who is the controller, who is the cause of all being, who is all pervasive, imperishable, and unsurpassable, the savior of all. Narayan, who is the supreme reality, designated as the Brahman. Narayan is supreme. Narayan is the supreme light, as it is described in the Upanishad. Narayan is supreme. Narayan is the most excellent mediator and meditation. Whosoever, whatsoever there is in this universe known through perception or report, all that is perceived and pervaded by Narayan, within and without of a person, it is him. It should be known that within the heart, which is situated between the larynx and the navel, the Lord of the universe abides, shining with a garland of flames, that within each and every person, God lives there. The heart resembles an inverted lotus bud, surrounded by arteries and connective lines. Within there is a subtle space within which everything is established, meaning God lives there. In that space, that undecaying, omniface, great light, which has flames on all sides, like the Jeev, what he's describing is the Jeev Atma from Paramatma. He enjoys the food presented and metabolizes everything. He allows from the rays of fire to spread throughout the body, upward and downward, warming the entire body from head to foot. In the center of that light, which permeates in the whole body, which abides a thin tongue of flame, a colorful of gold, which is most subtle. It dazzles, just like what he's describing here. It dazzles like a flash of lightning that appears in the dark, rainy cloud. It is slender as the horn of a paddy grain, shaped like a paddy, which the dialite is, which serves as a comparison to illustrate how subtle it is. The Supreme Soul dwells in the middle of that flame. He is Brahma, he is Shiva, he is Vishnu, he is Indra, he is the cause of this universe, and he lives inside of you and I. The Supreme Brahman, the absolute reality, is a being dark blue and yellowish in color, absolute chaste and possessing uncommon beautiful eyes. Salutations to him in that universal form. Om Narayanaya Vidmahi Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. May we know the cause of all beings, the person who is the cause of all beings. We meditate upon the indweller, Antaryami, inner dweller of all the Jeev. If the Jeev is the shell, the inside piece of the Jeev is Mahavishnu. May that supreme omnipresent enlighten our intellect and give us the movement that we require. Shri Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. That is the Narayan Suktam from Rig Veda. Tonight, before we conclude, Kacha is talking in Matsya Puran about Vrat and the benefit of Vrat, and he's speaking to Devyani and he's talking, and he makes an important point, that there are some people that are without joy, that some people become very despondent although they are doing devotion. And this is an important point that I just want to pick on before we go. Sometimes you could be doing your prayer, but you could be making an error. When the burden of this life becomes very heavy, it affects you. It starts to eat at you. It starts to change you. And with that attitude, where you lose your luster, where he's talking about this bright light inside of you, when that light becomes very dim and dull, you're offering the prayer, but it will not yield the same outcome when you compare it to the person who is motivated, the person who is happy, the person who is joyous, the person who is in a different disposition, as if that light inside that he just spoke about is activated. When in Gita it talks about a person must become balanced in happiness and sorrow. The person must not just go, happy. And when he comes down from that happiness, oh boy, the depression, the disappointment, the pain, the hurt, the harm is so severe that they cannot function the next day. That when that depression comes, when you become so disappointed, you give up on God, you give up on faith. Your faith now is affected because I put all my faith in that praise and I didn't get the A in the exam. I got a B and I didn't get the A. So now I wondering if that God living, if that God, why God let this happen? But if you become equal, if you become balanced, well, at least I pass. I pass, all right, well, I'll pray again, I'll do it again, I'll work again. I must do something different. So you become a little more mature. Mature is described as knowing when to do, what to do. With the right resolve, with the right attitude, you will know what to do. But tonight, let me make mention that, remember last night in Ramayana, he spoke about that when a person lost in the night, in the illusion, and they think that everything in this life is real, and the person gets so caught up, my land, my house, my wife, and then you start to lose those things, you become very disappointed. What are we supposed to do? The yogi that is seeking the Lord, you follow the grihasti into the vanpras, into the sannyasi, you start to let go, you start to pull back. There comes a point the parent has to learn, the grandparent has to learn how to say, parents, listen, all your big, all your sort of yourself out. Let me focus on my grandchild, for example, and don't continue to intervene in your children, because now you're squeezing them, you're robbing them of the opportunity to learn. You learn from experience. And now you're suffocating them because you want to tell them what to do, what to do, what to do. But in truth, if you want to live right, give them a chance and change your focus. Your focus is the little child, the grandchild. And then comes a point when the grandchild is grown and you forget them too. And you focus on yourself and God. There's a time and place for everything. And you have to find that joy in your life. Things happen in life, yes. And if you want to get up tomorrow and you want to do all the puja, that's good. God bless you, do it. But you have to do it with the right mind, with the right thought, with the right way, with the joy. And remember that if all your emotions are pegged against one person, this life is so, out of control. This life, tomorrow the puppy could die. Tomorrow you could lose your work. Tomorrow your spouse could pass away, unfortunately. God forbid. Nothing is permanent. And whilst you enjoy their company, live this life. Do your puja for you, between you and your God. And who come along, they come along for a ride. But it have to be, as we grow in our dharma, that you become stable. That the day when the storm is rough, you could withstand the storm and your prayers could hold still. However, if every time somebody rock the boat, your devotion go out the door, you're not going to reach very far. And it's going to be a test. Blessed is the person who is able with joy, happiness, and that positivity approach the Lord in doing vrat. And by doing worship with that type of mindset and that type of acknowledgement, they will gain excellent outcomes, happiness, by performing vrat in that mindset. If you don't have it, and let's say you have clinical depression or some problem, pray to God and ask God for that help to bring back that light and that love in your life. Right now, many people are losing people. Many people are dying. And if we don't address the problems that will come out of this, one day we had family members and the next day we don't. The nature of the funeral rites. If we don't address these things, one day we're going to have problems with children. Psychologists, psychiatrists, they're going to be very busy. We need to talk to children. Children are not getting to play anymore. Things are changing. Let us get up in the morning and sing. I'll send out some information tonight when I'm finished with the satsang, and I look forward to doing tomorrow night Yagna with you all. I hope you remember where the mango leaf came from for the person who asked me the question. I hope that you have listened and learned a little bit about the Bhishma Panchak, the Prabhudani Ekadasi, and the value of tomorrow. Please get up in the morning, do your little havan, do your little puja, do what you can. Do what you can. If it's just to offer a dar, if it's to offer a little turpan, if you lost somebody who passed away. And in doing it, God will bless you. Prem se bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Everybody, let's all clasp our hands as we've come to the end of our satsang tonight. God bless you and God bless your family. And thank you for being with me for another night. If you're watching this on the review, please share the satsang. Those of you live with me now, please leave a comment and share the satsang. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel so that you would get more notifications. Everybody, let's go. Until tomorrow, everybody have a wonderful morning, and I'll see you again tomorrow night. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Prem se bolo Mahapati Mahadev ki jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Sitaram until tomorrow. Bye bye.